What's good, future millionaires? We back with another banger. I'm DecemberDeMarco, Fortune 500 marketer, here to share my insights to the market with y'all to hopefully help y'all become better informed investors. Salute to y'all for pulling up on the channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, like button for the YouTube algorithm, and do not forget to subscribe. So we are back with another update. I invited y'all from the last video to come over to this video, check my reaction to this video of, well, first and foremost, it's by Chico Crypto. Shout out to him for putting this together, but its title is The World Economic Forum and the Great Reset Exposed. They plan to control everything. So we talked about Satoshi's tweet asking, the community's input on whether or not we should accept the invitation to work with the World Economic Forum on the metaverse global policy. Now, in that video, I told y'all, I was very torn. It was a very hard decision because of some of the things that they are known for. Their, agenda goes completely against decentralization. But then again, on the other hand, I told y'all about how this can be a major stamp for Shiba Inu on a global scale. So here's the video, the background information on what the World Economic Forum, does, what they're about. This is kind of, why it's a little, shaky, a little iffy, about working with them. But we did vote on that poll. I did vote yes, but I commented yes if it's, matter of fact, let me go to my tweet so y'all can see specifically what I wrote. So yes if it helps and we get full transparency plus remain decentralized. Decisions will be made with or without us. So I don't think it's bad to have an ear at the table, but this is a very slippery slope. If we have no benefit, transparency, and decentralization, my answer is no. So that's my answer. Now, just because we go, and hear them out does not mean we have to, partner or work with them or anything of that sort. But I don't think it's a bad idea to hear what is going on. You got to remember, a very big portion of, the Shiba Inu team funds energy is going towards building the Shiba Inu metaverse. So we don't want to just sit on the sidelines and not hear anything going on with what global leaders are trying to do when it comes to making a metaverse policy. Now, the other end of this sword is the fact that we are kind of essentially bowing down to them in a way, or giving them, the authority, or saying that, we're kind of giving up a little bit of belief almost in the nature of decentralization by doing so, because we're kind of appointing them as a centralized authority when it comes to, creating that global metaverse policy. But this is the thing. We already have Facebook will be there. Decentraland will be there. Sandbox will be there. These are the biggest players in the space. With them inviting that fourth seat to Shiba Inu, that's a very, very big position to have. And that's something that we don't want to just give away to some other project when they reached out to us. Now, granted, it's a slippery slope. They can be, it can get really, really sticky. They can try to infiltrate, influence, govern, sway. All these different things, can happen once we, sit at that table. Which is why we have to make sure the person who is representing the SHIB army is transparent. We remain decentralized, and at the end of the day, and at the beginning of the day, it's helping Shiba Inu. So that's what I want to make sure. Now let's take a look at this video real quick. Again, shout out to Chico Crypto. His channel is Chico, CHICO space crypto, CRYPTO. So Chico Crypto, salute.
The WEF, the World Economic Forum. They're looking to put shackles around the globe, controlling every country, government, and citizen. They want to control what you read, what you watch, what you consume, and how you pay to consume it. There is only way to...
And this is so serious, y'all. Take this, none of this is financial advice, but don't let this go over your head. These people are serious. To some of y'all, you might be like, impossible. How could they do that? They don't have the power, the means, the ability to do something like this. Yes, they do, y'all. They are working to make it happen.
Get their ultimate plan into action. And it's by resetting the entire to get their watch what you consume and how you pay to consume it. There is only way to get their ultimate plan into action, and it's by resetting the entire world. So are you ready to fight the Great Reset? Well, let's fight the machine together because it's time for Chico Crypto. To begin this episode, what is the World Economic Forum, WEF? Well, it was founded by Klaus Schwab in 1971 and was originally called the European Management Forum, which goal was to bring American management systems to European firms. Each year, they would hold a yearly conference in Davos, Switzerland, where they would discuss how European companies could catch up to their American counterparts.
So already we see top, political powers in Europe, already, working together. Some people might say colluding, behind the scenes, doing things, but people have to meet in order to get things done. But at the end of the day, it's like, their true intentions is what really matters. I'm not against, I've been a part of all types of positive groups that, really work to, help bring a positive impact to the world. But there was no, plans on taking over anything or trying to, control what everyone does or anything like that. So that's where it kind of gets, a little shifty.
In 1973, the world changed forever with the collapse of the Bretton Woods system, the last straw of backing fiat currencies with gold. This is when the European Management Forum changed and morphed into the beginning stages of the WEF.
So once the gold backing removed, once we moved off of the gold standard where, they were no longer required to keep these gold reserves, this is when they really ramped up their efforts. So we can see that this is when, they start to switch their agendas. As the world develops, as things grow, the agenda that these leaders are working on changes. And you can see that still develop as this story unfolds.
They changed their focus from management systems to economic and social issues, and political leaders were invited for the first time to Davos and their conference in January of 1974. In 1987, the European Management Forum changed its name officially to the World Economic Forum, and this is when the forum started to change its name.
So take a look at that. In 1974, political leaders were invited to speak. So we are basically at that point now where crypto leaders are being invited to speak. So, history kind of always repeats itself sometimes, so, we can look at this roadmap essentially, or this timeline, and see how things kind of unfold and, how it could play out for the SHIB army.
Officially to the World Economic Forum, and this is when the forum started to really infiltrate the world. In 1992, the WEF launched its first iteration of a program called the Global Leaders for Tomorrow.
Okay, so 74, they invited political leaders to speak, and about 18 years later, they launched the program Global Leaders for Tomorrow. So this is just the beginning, of course, it might not take another 18 years for their next phase to unfold, but this is the beginning of whatever their plan is. Trust me, they already have a plan. They didn't just reach out to, all these different crypto companies or projects without them talking on the back end first. So they know what their plan is or their strategy. So we got to be very careful that we don't walk into any traps, which most likely, even by sitting at the table, is, not saying it like in a negative way, a trap, but we're essentially agreeing to the terms and conditions, basically. So whatever happens at that table basically is going to happen.
This program groomed and prepared members to become global leaders who adhered to the WEF's principles. Tony Blair was a participant in the first one, and only 4 years later...
Notice that. He said they helped people get into power who adhered to their principles. They helped Tony Blair, the former prime minister of United Kingdom, become into power 4 years after he joined their program. So it's like, they can essentially invite you out. They invite political leaders out. You work with them. They make sure you're in agreement with, their agenda. And then they eventually help you, secure positions of power in other areas. Now, that can be very, very tempting for, someone who's not solid, for someone who doesn't have the community's best interests. You know, those offers, you know, imagine if, you know, who the representative of Shiba Inu goes for, if they end up offering that person, you know, a presidential seat in some country or something like that, or a governor's chair or something like that. You know, that can be very, very, you know, tempting to accept for somebody. And I don't know what other offers they might have. It could be money, you know, power, you know, whatever. But I'm pretty sure whatever would be needed, they would have it to be able to make that offer. So that's why it's very, very tricky. So that's why when I said I would vote yes if it's benefiting us, if it's transparent and we remain decentralized. We need to know, you know, what offers are being put out there. You know, what you know, we need to know everything needs to be above the table. There shouldn't be anything going on under the table if we're sitting at the table.
He began his decade-long rule of the UK. Gordon Brown also attended the first, and then served alongside Tony Blair, eventually becoming Prime Minister directly afterwards. This initial group was full to the brim with other future leaders, with many members who were destined to soon become heads of states in their respective countries. Well-known leaders who attended the first one include Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany, Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, Nicolas Sarkozy, former President of France, Lee Hsien Loong, Prime Minister of Singapore, Cyril Ramaphosa, President of South Africa, and Jose Maria Anzar, former Prime Minister of Spain.
So you telling me all these presidents, prime ministers, whatever we want to call them, you telling me all of them magically attended this seminar, this forum, this whatever this event is, and magically ended up in positions of presidential level power. So they all participated as future leaders of tomorrow, and all of them became presidents like that. Come on, y'all, connect the dots, man. This is a very, very powerful group we're working with. Now, they've also had, you know, things to do with the Terra Luna involvement, FTX involvement as well. So that's another thing that worries me, you know, as far as, you know, they don't have an excellent track record when it comes to, you know, the crypto side of things. They got a good track record, you know, when it comes to if you work with them, they'll get you a presidential seat somewhere. But as far as crypto projects, man, don't look too good.
The mastermind of the project, the WEF's lifetime leader, Klaus Schwab, had himself already been helped into his own influential position by a very similar program.
So this guy right here is the founder of this. He came from Harvard. He was a part of a program similar to this, which is, you know, what gave him the spark or idea to create this program.
Already been helped into his own influential position by a very similar program run out of Harvard University that was heavily funded by the American Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, called...
So the CIA heavily funded him to become a future leader. They heavily funded him through Harvard for him to become a future leader, which he created a program now that helps control the rest of the world. Sheesh, the CIA, they get deep with it. They're good. They will invest in you years before. You know, they're not overnight people. You know, they'll put 20 years into something just to see, you know, it begin to unfold. Before, you know, 20 years of preparation, just building it and laying the foundation of something, just to be able to let that plan unfold. You know, it's very powerful when people who are a part of the blueprint and the plan understand that they will never basically see the plan come into fruition. You know, when you got a group of people like that working together, when they're willing to stick with everything and keep things moving, knowing that they won't see the end of it and it'll be something that has to pass on through other people, sheesh. Big things.
Called Henry Kissinger's International Seminar. Obviously, the WEF wanted their people in power, and the program of grooming new leaders is still running to this day, called Young Global Leaders. People think they have a choice who leads countries, but in reality, the WEF controls politics across the globe. So what is the WEF's current mission? Well, the WEF isn't shy about telling us what they plan to do. As we can see, the WEF has a mission called the Great Reset. From the landing page, we can see they say there is an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the Rona crisis. To improve the state of the World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset Initiative.
So them reaching out to, the SHIB team, that's a part of their initiative. They didn't just step outside of this. This is all funneling back into their Great Reset Initiative. Now, what they're going to do is going to happen regardless. Not saying it will work, but they're going to plan and make, progress and movements on this plan regardless if we decide to work with them or not. But I think it would be better for us to at least have a seat at the table to be able to hear what's going on. As long as our representative can be transparent with us to really give us the real deal, nothing coded, nothing, sugar coated, the real deal of what's going on, and keep us, lively, updated at the same time, then we'll be able to, determine if we want to withdraw from the situation or not. As long as we remain that power, and we're, having, a listening ear at the table to be able to see what Facebook is adding, to see what Sandbox is adding, to see what Decentraland is adding, I think it's good, and we can also add our input as well for, what we think the metaverse should be. But it has to be transparent, man. It really does. It can get super dangerous if it's not.
The goal of this reset? Well, they explain it below, saying, this initiative will offer insights to help inform all those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and the management of global commons. They want to control the world, and they even put out an infographic showing how the Great Reset will reshape the world, including the future of food, banking and capital markets, digital identities, blockchain, taxation, even human rights, and everything under the sun you can think of. They want to reset and change everything.
And that means they will essentially be in control. That means they will essentially be the authority. They will essentially make the most money from it. It's essentially a big W for them. So this is a tricky one, y'all.
Everything. And what's crazy, the WEF actually admitted the Rona debacle was just a test to get some of their initiatives put into place. Just 2 weeks ago.
Now, this was crazy when I heard this. Now, I don't know if they were saying, using the word test loosely, or if they really meant a real test. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section.
They released this article, My Carbon, an approach for inclusive and sustainable cities. And in the article, they say, COVID-19 was a test of social responsibility. A huge number of unimaginable restrictions for public health were adopted by billions of citizens across the world. There were numerous examples globally of maintaining social distancing, wearing masks, mass vaccinations, and acceptance of contact tracing applications for public health, which demonstrated the core of individual social responsibility. They admitted the Rona panic across the globe was just a test. They had their leaders empowered to direct the countries through this global social responsibility test. They want to control citizens down to what they do, how they do it, and why they do it. They want to control humans' free will. And a member of the WES, advisor Yuval Harari, has spilled the beans on this. Back in July, he gave this interview where he spoke on humans and their free will. Let's listen in.
Humans.
So let me know in the comment section what y'all think about the first part, the test part of, the Roni round.
Are now hackable animals.
Let's listen in.
He just called humans hackable animals, y'all.
Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will.
Jeez, he even said people having a soul. He said that's over. That's hard to trust somebody like that, y'all. Come on, man. Sheesh.
Well, that's over.
They believe
Hold on, that's very important. I gotta run his part
humans
back.
now.
humans and their free will. Let's listen in.
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have.
Remember what hackable means. Like, you can break into, you can program it, you can deprogram it, reprogram it. Sheesh.
Hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, this, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
They believe human free will is gone with the advances of technology. They can control how citizens choose in their daily lives, from voting down to what they buy in the grocery store. This is insane, and it even gets more dark.
And think about it, through advertisements, what you see on TV, through the marketing materials inside the grocery stores, through what you see in movies, you know, there's advertisements and influence everywhere you look.
And disturbing. But before we get into that, it's time to lighten this episode up with a short sponsored segment from our friends at Gods
so we can skip
Unchained.
through this.
And like always, the full details of our agreement. The United Kingdom has been a country the WEF has controlled since the launch of their Global Leaders of Tomorrow program. Well, with the UK's newest Prime Minister, Liz Truss, she is a WEF puppet. She is listed on the WEF's website and has taken part.
Even the new prime minister, so these people really got pulled. Even once one of their people get out of office, they got another one lined up, ready to go.
Virtual summits with the WEF on
So we need to pay attention to the people who, you know, your countries and whatnot, the countries you're interested in, you know, learning more about. You need to pay attention who representatives from those countries, you know, are visiting this event. Because most likely we can connect some dots.
National trade back in 2021, and even tweeted about this virtual summit, saying it's time we, Britain, had rules fit for the 21st century.
Sheesh.
Since Liz has taken power, the UK economy has been in the dumper, with the British pound falling off of a cliff. Bond prices collapse, sending borrowing costs soaring, sparking mayhem in the mortgage markets, and pushing pension funds to the brink of insolvency. So what did Liz Truss say about this economic turmoil? Well, 3 days ago, Financial Times put out this article. Truss says British economy needs a reset after market sell-off. And
notice how they do that. They use the same verbiage, reset. You know, she hasn't mentioned that, you know, that's a part of the agenda from the World Economic Fund. She's presenting it through her own quote, just as, you know, we need a reset after markets sell off. It's just like, you know, that's her idea, when really this is all a part of their grand plan.
The article, we can see the direct quote from her. She said, "We believe in making it easier for our wealth creators, doers, and makers to get things done."
We believe in making it easier for our wealth creators, y'all. The wealth creators. There's a class of wealth creators, the people who are in control, that pull the levers, that have the, you know, the key to the gate, the doers and the makers to get things done. This is why we really got to come together, continue educating ourselves, continue learning together, and stay on top of things, just so that way we are more informed and we have the information needed to, you know, stay, you know, flexible, be able to pivot if need be, you know, and just see things before they actually happen to the masses.
Britain's economy needs a reset. We cannot continue on the current trajectory of managed decline. Instead, we must take a new direction. I will lead us down that path to a better future. WEF puppet Truss is following the Great Reset agenda down to a T. She said Britain's economy needs a reset, which is in full motion as I speak. So what is the end goal of this Great Reset? Well, the WEF isn't shy about it. They tweeted exactly what their plan is. They said, "Welcome to 2030. I own nothing. I have no privacy, and I've never been happier." Their aim is to just...
Welcome to 2030. I have no privacy. I own nothing. I have no privacy, and I've never been happier. That's their vision for us, y'all. That is what they want it to be. That's what they're working towards. That's, you know, one of the main reasons why I'm against it. but it looks like, what can, we do, to really stop them, essentially. All we can do is, it's a saying, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. We can keep close tabs on them. That's about the best we can do by, accepting that seat at the table. But we have to make sure our representative is not able to be corrupted.
Destroy personal ownership and privacy. And how do you think they are going to do that? Well, the WEF isn't shy about this either. They have recently been promoting the rise of CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, which would allow nation states to control the financial flow and status of their citizens. Why do you think Jerome Powell, chairman of the US Fed, who spoke on the US CBDC just last month, announced it wouldn't be fully private? Let's listen in.
We think that there are 4 characteristics of, if we were to pursue a CBDC, it would at a minimum have the following 4 characteristics. First is intermediated. Second is privacy protected. But third is identity verified. So it would not be anonymous. It would not be an anonymous bearer instrument. And fourth is transferable or interoperable. So we would be looking to balance privacy protection with identity verification, which has to be done, of course, in today's traditional banking system as well.
Digital identities will be tied to the CBDC, making them not so private, but fully controlled by the powers that be. Why do you think another globalist, WEF puppet Mr. Gates, has just recently pledged $200 million for the development of a digital ID? From the article it says, the latest funding commitment includes $200 million for digital public infrastructure, which includes digital IDs and civil registry databases.
So obviously we know the saying, follow the money. Bill Gates isn't putting $200 million towards this, and there's no benefit to it. The people that are dumping money into this right now, they want to have, basically a position of authority when everything unfolds. So we really want to, keep our ears and eyes open to what's really going on. Like I said, above the table and what's going on under the table.
Shit is about to get really real as they fight for total control. The public needs to wake up and start fighting back against their draconian plans. Fuck the Great Reset. It's time for the Great Awakening. Let's get woke. Cheers, viewers. I'll see you next time.
Okay, so shout out to Chico Crypto for that video. We gonna wrap this one up, man. This was a crazy thing. I just wanted y'all to get more insight to what is the World Economic Forum. Some of the potential dangers, that they could present for the SHIB army. And he didn't mention their connection with FTX or Terra Luna. So keep that in mind as well. That's not a good look. But, at the same time, like I said, with or without us, they're going to be making plans and moving things forward. I'd rather sit at the table, be able to listen to what we can listen to for as long as we can before, if they, cross any lines and then we have to withdraw. I'd rather be able to do that than just to, completely say we don't want to hear anything. So let me know how y'all feel about that. Remember, this is not financial advice. These are just my own opinions on this. Also, if you're interested in, becoming a more serious investor and you want to learn about decentralized finance, aka DeFi, you want to learn how to be safe in the space, how to navigate it, how to make money in it, things to watch out for, decentralized exchange, wallets, all these different things. You want them broken down to you. Join my class this Friday. Email me to investinaticket, DecemberDeMarco@gmail.com, and I'll make sure I lock your seat up. Appreciate y'all for pulling up, and we are out.